Donald Trump has lost grip with reality, and this is partly because he has been given so much power and he is seeking to wield so much power. He's now reportedly given a secret directive to the Pentagon to use the military to target Latin American drug cartels that his administration has designated terrorist organizations. The order provides an official basis for the possibility of direct military operations at sea and on foreign soil against cartels, according to the New York Times, which first reported the directive, citing people familiar with the matter. A U.S. official later confirmed the signing of the directive, but said military action did not appear imminent, and it was unclear exactly what type of operations they would carry out. The order obviously has forced the Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum to calm fears in her country of a U.S. invasion. The directive potentially opens the door for unilateral American military assaults across Latin America, an unprecedented escalation of tactics by a U.S. administration in the region. And this is in addition to the kidnappings, disappearings, and abductions of people in the United States who have been here for years, some of whom might be undocumented, but are working and paying tax. This approach from the Trump regime is obviously seen by some, many of whom who voted for Donald Trump, as a win. I mean, even former Superman actor Dean Cain has gone public with his big news that he's signing up to be an ICE agent and how they're thrilled to have him. Now, federal law enforcement agencies have ramped up their presence in Washington, D.C. This is after Trump again threatened to take control of the D.C. Police Department and possibly the entire D.C. government.
And either they're going to straighten their act out in the terms of government and in terms of protection, or we're going to have to federalize and run it the way it's supposed to be run.
A White House statement on Thursday night claimed what residents and visitors should expect. Washington, D.C. is an amazing city, they said, but it has been plagued by violent crime for far too long. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt said, President Trump has directed an increased presence of federal law enforcement to protect innocent citizens. She added that the increased federal presence means there will be no safe harbor for violent criminals in D.C. You can see what Donald Trump is doing here. He is increasing his reach, his jurisdiction as the chief law enforcer. I mean, he once said, I am the law. And this is a distraction technique designed to make people look over here when he, as the criminal himself, is committing crimes over here. But it contributes to the increased militarization of American law enforcement now under the direction of Donald Trump. He already sent the Marines and the National Guard into California as a kind of test bed, really, to see what he could get away with. And this will continue throughout the country. And with this $170 billion investment in ICE enforcement, you can only imagine what that will look like once their recruitment drive finds tens of thousands more officers, many of whom I'm sure have little experience, who will literally be behaving like a Gestapo on the streets of America, seeking to rid the streets of people of color. This dystopian nightmare for residents and citizens, and as we know, there are many people who are refusing to leave the house for fear of being abducted by ICE and sent to a concentration camp in another country. This unprecedented attack on U.S. democracy, I fear, is in danger of becoming normalized, a hyper-normalization where people just get used to it and they think that this is normal, and it is not normal. This kind of thing happens on the streets of some of the worst countries in the world, not the free world, not the United States of America, and yet it is now a reality. Trump has long suggested crime and violence is on the rise in Washington and has lately began to criticize things like litter and graffiti, but the catalyst for the order to increase police presence was the assault last weekend on a high-profile member of the Department of Government Efficiency by a group of teenagers in an attempted carjacking. The victim, Edward Correstein, nicknamed Big Balls, was among the most visible figures of Doge, which was tasked with cutting jobs and slashing the federal bureaucracy. Police arrested two 15-year-olds and said they are still looking for other members of the group. If D.C. doesn't get its act together and quickly, we will have no choice but to take federal control of the city and run this city how it should be run and put criminals on notice that they're not going to get away with it anymore, Trump posted on Truth Social earlier this week. Trump himself, a criminal, a felon, somebody with multiple indictments, charges, and impeachments against him. He subsequently said he was considering repealing Washington's limited home rule autonomy or bringing in the National Guard, maybe very quickly, he said. My concern is that this is something that Donald Trump would like to do to all sanctuary cities, to all Democratic-run cities, that he will claim that there is some level of violence or danger or invasion that gives him the legal right to run these cities and take them over from the governors or the mayors and ultimately turn them into Republican states. Trump does not play by the rules. He is creating his own set of rules, and he doesn't care, doesn't bow to public pressure despite being deeply insecure. He feels that this strongman approach to his presidency is the answer to all of America's problems. Unfortunately, it is making the US a no-go zone for tourists and visitors and business dealings. People do not want to work with the United States now that it is under authoritarian rule. And how a country that was considered to be one of the greatest in the world can slip so quickly into the hands of a tyrant, well, that is one for the history books. Unfortunately, you and I are actually living through this timeline right now. I'm Anthony Davis. You can find me on the 5 Minute News YouTube channel and podcast, on Wednesdays co-hosting Uncovered, and on Sunday on the Weekend Show with MeidasTouch.
The truth is more important than ever. Check out our new Truth Over Lies collection at store.meidastouch.com. All 100% USA Union made.